Your hair is black, your skin is yellow. Your eyes are clear crescents. Your ancestors are from across the Pacific. You are Asian. From grammar school, you recited the Pledge of Allegiance and sang the national anthem. You loved the ball games and consumed Coca-Cola with fervor. You are American. You live a contradiction, immersed within a white culture. You strive for material well-being and instilled white value. You may only sense not fitting in the white culture. The truth of your identity comes close to surfacing when people call you flip, chink, nip, or gook. Why do they call you these dirty names? To you, these names meant people killed in movies to protect freedom and justice for all. It is too difficult to accept that you are not one of the beautiful people. You try to ignore these assaults and continue to accept white culture and to prove how white you really are. But as we can see from the Black and Chicano experience, only white melts into society. People of color remain people of color. Descent. The world, this nation, has a sordid future. Know within yourself that at least you have tried to prevent it in some small, personal way.
It is an undoubted reality that Asian women suffer the same inequities as other women, as well as the added burden of racism. Asian women are oppressed not only by their economic position in the society, but also by the stereotypes perpetuated through the mass media. We are accustomed to thinking that the white stereotype of beauty is our standard of beauty. The myth of assimilation makes us strive harder and harder to dress white, look white, and act white. Asian women in America have come to value high straight noses, long eyelashes, and folds over their eyes. Perhaps the most common stereotype is the timid, docile Asian woman who rarely speaks out and meekly does what she is told. It's essential that we understand ourselves, our circumstances, and our responsibilities. We must not let the constrictions of these pervasive stereotypes prevent us from developing fully as human beings. With our Asian brothers, we must commit to combating the institutionalized racism, repression, and economic and sexual exploitation in the system we live under. Only when we have succeeded in humanizing our society will all men and women obtain their freedom as people. As Asian women, we must not neglect our part in this struggle.
We are Asians in America. What does this mean? This means that we have a common heritage. We have come from across the Pacific Ocean, most of us to gain more personal freedom. But we have been blind to the whitewashing we have been subject to. We have been stereotyped as non-questioning, hard-working, uncomplaining, and we have internalized these views of Asians held by white society. The reality is, and always has been, that whatever wealth the Asian community has created was in spite of the big business interests of this country. When we were no longer needed to do their dirty work, we faced lynchings, quotas, and concentration camps. The Asian people were only an obstacle to be forgotten. Historically, the racist power structure in America has denied the humanity of non-white people. We can see that Afro-Americans have been killed and exploited, both economically and psychologically. In regards to Asian Americans, this denial of humanity takes only more subtle forms. For all its outward sheen of neon, gilded pagoda roofs, and commercial bustle, Chinatown seems on the surface to be a model community, taking care of its own problems while providing a colorful place to eat Chinese food. Behind this facade, Chinatown is a bubbling cauldron of ancient rivalries and modern hatreds, of bitter clash between young and old. We have to get ourselves together, and this means not only that all Chinese should unite, but also that we unite with our black brothers and sisters. For every Panther murdered by the police, there will be 5 more new young Panthers who are awakened and made angry. The same is true of us Asian Americans. As long as there is poverty in Chinatowns across the country, as long as there is unfair treatment and discrimination, As long as there are those racial insults, there will be yellow people in this country who will fight for decent lives, no matter what the consequences or the threats may be.
We must begin to see beyond the racism that has made these people into less than human. We must define the truth about Asia and about Asians for ourselves. Perhaps then, we can begin to win some self-determination. We as Asian Americans must fight for the freedom of all oppressed people in this country and abroad. And we will win.